Yo, what's up guys? You got II here today once again, and this time I'm going to bring you the Hive team builder and battle versus John W. Now, John hasn't had the best record this season in the Hive. I believe right now he's 0-2, but that by no means says anything about his skill as a player. He is a very good battler in his own right, and he does have I would say he has a threatening team. It may not look like it on paper, it may look a bit odd on paper, but he definitely has some threats that I need to prepare for, otherwise I could easily lose. So John has on his team Mew, Z Kartana, Suicune, Nihilego, Z Xurkitree, Drampa, Ninjask, Seismitoad, Emboar, Megaseptile, and Z Scrafty. And over here, if you don't remember, I have Mega Kangaskhan, Necrozma, Z Tabulu, Z Mimikyu, Greninja, Hawlucha, Empoleon, Nidoking, Ditto, Z Turtonator, and Electroid. Now, looking at his team, some threats that stood out to me were Z Scrafty. I actually dedicated like one whole mon just to deal with Scrafty no matter what. Another thing that stood out to me was actually Banded Ninjas. I know that might not seem like the biggest threat on his team, but it definitely was something I was semi-wary of, as well as Z Xurkitree, which could have definitely been an issue for me. Suicune could have also been a problem. Yeah, like I said, he has a lot of like threats on their own as opposed to synergy-wise on their team. Like he has 2 Beast Boost mons, and then he has like a bunch of wall breakers and like 1 or 2 walls that could definitely that's definitely something he could bring. But other than that, so looking at his team, the first thing that I noticed was that he does not appreciate Mega Kangaskhan. His best way to deal with it, honestly, would be like a Rocky Helmet Mew set or like Rocky Helmet Suicune. And I have ways to deal with both of those. So right off the bat, I have Mega Kangaskhan with the Fake Out Return, Power Up Punch, and Sucker Punch. Originally, I had Earthquake instead of Sucker Punch, but I realized that I wanted an extra priority move just in case his team somehow managed to beat down my faster threats, such as Greninja. So I have that. Power Up Punches, obviously, so I can get some attack raises, which I will need if I want to kill something that outspeeds me, like Kartana with the Sucker Punch. Max Speed to potentially Speed Tie with Mew. I don't think he'd bring a Max Speed Mew variant, so I figured Mega Kangaskhan being Max Speed will help me in that endeavor. Yeah, so you know, this also outspeeds Xurkitree and Max Speed Suicune, and yeah, that's pretty much why I decided to bring Mega Kangaskhan. So Pam over here. So next up, looking at his team, I needed something for Kartana, and I only really had 2 mons on my team that could deal with Kartana. Well, 3. One of them was Ditto, and I didn't want to have to lock myself into any one move versus Kartana and make a prediction on that front. And the other 2 are actually Angela and Dwight, so Turtonator here is actually designed to take on Swords Dance Z Kartana. Angel has the leftovers with the Flamethrower, Draco Meteor, Toxic, and Earthquake. Originally, I was Rest Talk on Rocky Helmet for Turtonator, but I realized that so if I rested, right, I figured that would not give me enough. It wouldn't give me enough, you know, ways to deal with other threats on this team that could potentially set up and win the game, such as like Mew if he decided to bring like a setup Mew variant, or Scrafty for example, or even Suicune. So that's the reason I didn't run Rest this week. I have Flamethrower, Draco Meteor, Toxic, and Earthquake. Toxic is obviously for things like the Suicune and the Mew and pretty much everyone on his team that I can't hit with the Flamethrower. Draco Meteor, don't see myself using that too often, but it's there just in case I want to hit like Megaseptile on the prediction. And then Earthquake is obviously for the Emboar. This is also my Emboar switching. It doesn't take Banded superpowers or Earthquakes very well, but it does take them. So if he decides to bring Emboar and Kartana, I'll mostly be saving this for the Kartana. But if he doesn't bring Kartana, then I'll basically always switch this in on Emboar. Max Defense obviously helped me in that front. So yeah, that's why I decided to bring Angela. So next up we have the Greninja. I'm actually bringing a Choice Scarf variant with the Grass Knot, Ice Beam, Dark Pulse, and Spikes. Now, I wanted a revenge killer for things like Megaseptile and potentially Scarf Kartana, and I figured Greninja would be the best thing on my team to do that. So I have the Grass Knot actually for the Seismitoad in case he decides to randomly bring that. He could definitely bring it as something to deter Mega Kangaskhan. He could put Rocky Helmet on that easily, and I wanted something to basically one-shot it if he did not have the Rindo Berry. Ice Beam is for the Mega Sceptile or the Drampa, and that's about it. And then I have Dark Pulse for General Stab, and to be able to take out things like Scarf Cortana and Mew. This thing does lose pretty badly to Suicune, Combine Suicune, but I have other things on my team to deal with that depending on what set he is, and Spikes is just for general hazards. If he wants to remove hazards on his team, it will have to be through defog, so yeah. That's why I'm decided to bring Aaron. So next up we have Dwight, the Hawlucha with the substitute Drain Punch, Toxic, and Roost with the leftovers recovery. Now, looking at his team and looking at my team, Scrafty is actually a huge threat for me. And this Hawlucha set is basically 100% designed to deal with all variants of Scrafty, even if it's in Headbutt, which I don't think he'd even bring. I think that'd be a poor choice if he's gonna bring anything. If he would bring something, I expect it to be like, I don't know, Rest Talk, Dragon Dance, I don't know, or Bulk Up or something like that. But other than that, Hawlucha can 100% of the time deal with it, and it also gives me a semi-check answer to Cortana. Yeah, Drain Punch to help me hit that a bit better. Toxic is actually for things like Mew, Suicune, well, not Xurkitree, Drampa, things of that nature. So the plan behind the Toxic is, if he's fearing me to be an offensive Hawlucha, then I think his first instinct would be to go to like a Mew set. So the idea behind this is to sub up with a Hawlucha and then Toxic it after, so Synchronize doesn't work against me. So that's the plan on that front. I thought about running Taunt, but I figured sub would be more beneficial because it'd give me an easier way to predict things or scout for different moves and as such, and things like that. So that's why I decided to bring that. And the Roost is obviously for recovery. Maybe I can Toxic stall something out, and that's the plan behind that. So next up we have Phyllis the Empoleon with the Stealth Rock, Toxic, Roar, and Ice Beam with the leftovers. Now we're not bringing Stab this week, and that's actually fine with me. Originally I had something like Grass Knot on it for the Seismitoad, but I figured that wasn't worth it. I wanted something that could deal with Suicune if it turned out not to be like a Rest Talk variant. Now, Stealth Rock is obviously for hazards, Toxic is for things like Mew, it's for things like Suicune, it's for things like Drampa, if it's not like a Thunderbolt variant or something along those lines. And yeah, and then Roar is obviously to get rid of things that have set up, like maybe Nihilego has got a kill and I can't take 2 hits. I might want to Roar that out. So something could Revenge Kill it later, and then Ice Beam is for Mega Sceptile. Now Mega Sceptile is actually a pretty big threat for my team, especially if it's like a mixed set with Earthquake, and there isn't much I can do to stop that in particular, I apologize for that. But other than that, like, Empoleon can take an Earthquake. At +2, it can't, but yeah, so I just have to be very wary of Mega Sceptile, which is one of the reasons why Greninja is Sash. Or not Sash, it's Scarfs. Sorry, it's been a long day, but it's one of my ways to Revenge Kill, and maybe he'll expect it, maybe he won't, but yeah, that's pretty much why I'm bringing the Empoleon. If it turns out to be a special set, entirely special set, then this thing will be able to take it on fairly well. Then Ice Beam obviously kills it and damages other things on this team, so also has a chance to freeze, which is definitely a plus. And so next up we have Jim, the Nidoking, and we're actually rocking Assault Vest with Ice Beam, Earth Power, Thunderbolt, and Shadow Ball. And I had to bring Nidoking, mainly because I needed something to outspeed and stop Volt Switching Xurkitree. That thing is just a huge threat for my team. It can get a kill on pretty much everything if it's the right set, so I needed something to switch into that at all times. Enough speed, outspeed, max speed, Zerk. Ice Beam is obviously for Mega Sceptile, Earth Power for General Stab, Thunderbolt for Suicune, and Shadow Ball for Mew. If he does bring a defensive set, I will outspeed, which is the plan behind that. 104 HP was made in order to be able to take 3 Scarf HP Ices, so it can't be 2 KO'd by Zerg's HP Ice if it is timid. So that's the plan behind that. And yeah, that's the team I'm bringing, and let's hop right into the match. So originally I planned on doing this live, but as I was about to set it to record, my roommate walked in, so I didn't want to record while he was in the room. So this was around the same time I played John, and I didn't want to John him, no pun intended, any longer. So we just played then, and I figured I'd just do post commentary later, which is what I'm doing now. So he has a very threatening team of Kartana, Mew, Nihilego, Suicune, Dromba, and Sceptile. Now, two things. I'm very happy he did not bring the Scrafty, and I'm very happy he didn't bring the Zerk. But that does not make his team any less threatening. So I'm considering leading two things. I could either lead Empoleon to try and get up rocks, or I can lead Greninja to either try and get up spikes and maybe bluff that I'm not scarfed, or maybe get a surprise kill on something like make Sceptile, hopefully. So that's the plan behind that, or maybe scare up Mew and get up a spike or something along those lines. So that's what I do. I lead the Greninja as he leads Nihilego. Now, Nihilego pretty much walls my Greninja set. I don't have any water stab to hit it with, and I'm locked into whatever move I decide to go for. Don't want to take a Thunderbolt, and I know it can be like a Sash variant or some sort, and I know Nidoking can take any hit. So I go into Nidoking, as he does go for Thunderbolt there. Nidoking isn't really necessary this match, mainly because he didn't bring the Zerk, so it's kind of expendable at the same time, kind of not. It can definitely hit things hard on his team, but he has Mons to take hits from it because I'm not Life Orb, so he goes for Thunderbolt there. And now he reveals a Psychic, which I was not expecting Psychic. I didn't think he'd have it. I thought he'd be more like a Toxic Spike Stealth Rock type variant or something along those lines, and Psychic actually does over half to me as I just go for Earth Power, and he is revealed to be the Sash set. Now, I thought about that play for a bit. I figured he'd probably want to get Hazards up, but I also figured that maybe he might want to make a prediction, right? Maybe I might go into Greninja and he might Thunderbolt again, trying to get a surprise kill. But as I said before, Nidoking is pretty expendable compared to other members on my team. So I go for Shadow Ball, maybe expecting him to go out into Mew. He also could have been predicting me to have like a Sucker Punch, but yeah, so I go for Shadow Ball there, just in case he wanted to switch or anything, as he goes to the Kartana. And as I said before, my dedicated switching is always Angela to the Kartana, and that did 10. That did nothing. So I know he's going to switch at this point. There's no way he's staying in. So I go for a Toxic. I was actually hoping he'd go Suicune, but Mew was fine too. That thing needed to get Toxic. So we're both Toxic there, which makes Turtonator a bit less useful versus things like Kartana, but still necessary for something to switch in. I don't know if he's Scarfed or not at that point in time, so he goes for Taunt, which is a good play, because that forces me not to be able to defog if I had it, or get Rocks up, or Roar, things like that. So I go for Ice Beam as he brings out the Drompa, and from that damage I can basically tell he's like a Spadef variant, and I'm hoping he's like Sap Sipper, but nope, he's not. He is the Berserk variant, so he got a special attack race, which is unfortunate. I figured he'd be more of a defensive set to begin with, so I figured he'd like have something like Roost, and I can just get up rocks there. So I'm hoping he doesn't have Thunderbolt. I'm hoping he's like a Hyper Voice, Dragon Pulse, or something along those lines. He reveals the Hyper Voice, which at that point I'm like, okay, good, he doesn't have the Thunderbolt. I wall this thing. So I go for Toxic just to help wear it down for things like Greninja later, as he does reveal the Thunder, but I'm like, dang. Empoleon's paralyzed at this point, so really not much it can do. It brings in Suicune though, and that tells me what set he is, so he's like a leftovers variant. I'm hoping he's not Rest, but he might be. I know he's not going to one stand, so I go for the Roar again, and I actually bring out Drompa again this time, and at this point I figure like, okay, a couple things could happen. He could go for Thunderbolt and kill me. He could go for Hyper Voice and expecting me to go into like Nidoking or something. And I'm paralyzed at this point, so I realize, you know what, Empoleon's probably not going to be able to do much in the end, and if he does turn out to be like a Rest Sleep Talk variant of Suicune, then Empoleon will be more of a liability than anything. So yeah, I'd pretty much just stay in, try to get damage, but no, he kills me, and that's fine, you know, get some more damage off on Droplet from the Toxic, and now I get to bring in Pam, I get to bring in my Kangaskhan, and you know, it's time to start wrecking shop. So I also thought long and hard about this play. I figured, so return killed here. Min damage was 76. I didn't know how much defense investment he had, but if he used like a max HP, then return barely killed. But I also figured he probably wouldn't want to switch in anything on the first turn, because John took a long time figuring out what he should do this turn as well. I figured fake out would be, it wouldn't hurt to fake out. If he did bring in something that's Rocky Helmet, I could have always switched out again, so I go for a fake out there. Get enough damage on where return will always kill now. So Trompa's pretty much dead at this point. I go for the return, and he brings in the Mew, and as you can see, his Mew set is Rocky Helmet, which I was sad to see, actually. I was like, oh darn, because Kangaskhan would have been a lot more useful to me, and I actually switch out here. I don't want to take any more Rocky Helmet damage in case I have to take some skulls from Suicune. And yeah, so I figured he'd like Roost or something, so I went to hard into Greninja. I knew he wouldn't hit me something super effective on Greninja that turn, so he actually revealed the Vacuum Wave, sorry. He revealed the Vacuum Wave, which I was surprised to see. I figured he might wanna, if he had the Vacuum Wave, I figured he'd want to have gone for it versus me. Kangaskhan when I still had it out just to get more damage off on that thing so Suicune can kill later, but no, he reveals the Vacuum Wave that turn, and that's fine. I don't really need health on Greninja for anything. And another thing this turn is actually very interesting. I also debated about switching, but if he was revealed to be a sub variant, which I found out he was after the match, then I would have just lost, right? So no matter what I brought in, Mega Sceptile could kill with like Dragon Pulse or Leaf Storm. Dragon Pulse killed Nidoking, Earthquake killed Nidoking if he had it. Dragon Pulse killed Greninja, Turtonator, did a lot to Lucha, and killed Kangaskhan. So if he had gone for a sub that play, I would have lost. So I had to stay in Dark Pulse. Revealed that I was Scarf. No flinch, unfortunately, but that's the game we play. Does enough damage where Kangaskhan's fake out will do enough to kill it. I know he's gonna switch, but I have no choice at that point. I needed that thing gone. If I got the prediction wrong, I lost the game. So I go for fake out there, does nothing to Kartana, and I go out into Hawlucha that turn. And the reason I went out into Hawlucha was because I couldn't risk him setting up a Combine with Suicune, which he could have done if Turtonator was out. Like, if he was a rest variant, then I would have just lost the game. So I had to go Hawlucha there, take some damage. If he Scarfed, the next Leaf Blade has to be a max crit to kill me, and I figure he's not going to go for that. So he goes and sacks Drampa there, and I go for the Roost, predicting something along those lines. And yeah, goodbye Drampa, you know? So Dwight kills that thing with Drain Punch, and I'm like, okay, so we're still in this game, we can still win this. So he goes Suicune here, and I'm like, okay, let's see what Suicune wants to do. So I go for the Toxic there. I'm hoping he's not a rest variant at this point. I know he's probably going to try to burn me. He doesn't burn me, thankfully. Yeah, as I said before, I'm hoping he's not a rest variant, so now I'm just going to try to stall him out, as he just keeps going for Scalds, you know, and that's his play, right? So over the next couple turns, I will try to Roost stall him out, hopefully not trying to get any burns over here. At this point, my plan is to win with Mega Kangaskhan's Power-Up Punch. It's literally the only way I can kill Suicune at this point if he is a rest variant. So I go for Roost there, and he is revealed to be rest, and I'm like, okay, this just made this battle a lot more difficult. So now I'm like, you know what? I want to scout for the Sleep Talk, so I go for Substitute. He actually makes a double into Kartana, which I found surprising. That just gave me more chip from Stealth Rocks on it. And now I know he's going to switch back out into Suicune, but at this point, you know, there's really no point in me not drain punching. Like, I'm not going to switch out when I'm behind a sub at that point. So I go for drain punch, get some leftovers back, and I still want to see if he's sleep talk, right? Get a crit there, that did not matter. And he is revealed to be the sleep talk, so I'm like, okay, darn, this thing may just 1v1 me. So now the plan is to either get damage off on from Nidoking or sack it off. Regardless of what happens, I need Mega Kangaskhan in to win the game. So he goes for Scald there, and he does kill Nidoking. So I'm like, okay, that is unfortunate. So now I have to go into Kangaskhan, and he can make two plays here. He can go into Kartana expecting me like to return. Kartana lives a return. He can go for rest here, trying to take up all the damage, because return is not a 2 KO on max defense Suicune, which is what I determined from the drain punch damage. So he could do that, or he could just try to Scald, burn, kill me. So Scald at this range does not kill me. 100% of the time does not kill me. If he gets a burn, then I live 1 burn damage, and I get a attack the next turn. So my play is always to power up punch here. I need a +2 to be able to kill Suicune, and if he did happen to burn me, then so be it. I would have been able to at least get enough damage off on Suicune to do something. So I get my power up punch boost, and now Sucker Punch is able to kill Kartana. He actually did, I guess he predicts it. He goes for Tailwind actually, which I found surprising. And at this point, my play is 100% to always Sucker Punch, at least until the Tailwind is out. He makes a double Sceptile, but he's also wasting Tailwind turns, and he's taking Stealth Rock damage, so that's no loss to me. So I may have misplayed here, and honestly, I don't think it would have cost me the game, the play I made, but looking back on it, it may have been a misplay. So his play right now, 110%, is to Scald me and hope for a burn. I could have Sucker Punched here, gotten enough damage where return could have killed next turn. So I didn't do that actually. I just went for the return. I would have been able to 2 KO regardless, but as you can see, he doesn't burn me actually, and I go for the return, and I get the kill. I think I would have won either way, but Sucker Punch would have made it safer, I think, in a way. So that's the play there, and now he goes into Kartana, and I also have to make a play here. If he happens to be like a Swords Dance variant of some sort, Swords Dance Tailwind or something like that, he will be able to beat Hawlucha down. So I can't go for Sucker Punch here. If I go for Sucker Punch and he doesn't attack me and he somehow sets up and manages to kill or stall out Kangaskhan Sucker Punches, then I pretty much lose the game if a Tailwind is up and he can hit Hawlucha. So I make a play here. He goes for Tailwind, and I actually just Power Up Punch, kill him. There was no way I could go for Sucker Punch there. He made the correct play in case I choked by going for Sucker. But yeah, very good game to John. He actually had me on the ropes a couple times. Despite his record, he's definitely not a bad battler. He's definitely earned my respect in that regard. Mega Sceptile almost could have completely destroyed me, as could have Kartana and Suicune. But I definitely got lucky with not getting burned on some Scalds. That could have been a game changer. Again, it was in my favor, but still, it would have definitely helped him out and would have put a lot more pressure on me to win the game. But definitely good game to John, and yeah, stay tuned for my Week 4 match. I believe I'm facing Illusion again, so it's about time to have the Civil War in the Hive. You know, we had an NPL. If you didn't see the match, go check it out on either my side or Illusion's side. Again, posted to the same channel. But yeah, you know, maybe one of us will get revenge for the other, or for something like that, you know? Well, I guess we'll see. But yeah, thanks for watching, and stay tuned for more content.